Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a huge concept in chemistry, molarity. Now, I know that word sounds a little intense, right? But I promise you, by the end of this, you'll see it's just a super precise way of asking a really simple question. Just how strong is something?
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about the last time you made coffee, or maybe some lemonade. Did you take a sip and go, ugh, this is way too weak? Or maybe the opposite. Whoa, that is strong. Of course you have. We all have. Well, guess what? In that exact moment, you were thinking about concentration. And that's our starting point, something we all get.
So we're going to take that everyday feeling of making sweet tea or coffee and connect it directly to the science. Let's build that bridge. So at its core, concentration is really just a comparison. You've got two main types. On one hand, you have a dilute solution. That just means there's less stuff dissolved in it. Weaker taste, weaker effect, like some watery tea. Then you've got the concentrated solution. This one's the opposite. It is packed with stuff. It's got a much stronger punch, kind of like juice concentrate right out of the can.
Okay, but if we want to talk about this like scientists, strong and weak aren't going to cut it. We need to be more precise. So we've got to learn a few key terms first. Think of it like learning the basic grammar before you can actually speak the language of chemistry. First up, the solute. And this is super simple. The solute is just the stuff that gets dissolved. So back to our sweet tea example, the sugar you dump in, that's your solute. See? Easy. All right, and every solute has a partner, and that's the solvent. The solvent is the thing that does the dissolving. So for our tea, what's doing the dissolving? The water, right? And honestly, in most situations you'll run into, water is the solvent. It's so good at it, people literally call it the universal solvent. So what happens when you put them together? When your solute, the sugar, dissolves completely in your solvent, the water, bam, you've got a solution. That finished, perfectly mixed glass of sweet tea, that's a solution. Okay, deep breath. We're going to talk about the term that sometimes trips people up, the mole. But seriously, don't overthink this. You know how a dozen just means 12 of something? A mole is the exact same idea, it's just a chemist's dozen. It's a word for a specific, very, very large number. It's how chemists count atoms and molecules, because there are just so many of them. Just think of it as a counting number, like a dozen.
All right, we've got our vocabulary down. Solute, solvent, solution, mole, check. Now we are ready for the main event. Let's finally meet the master formula that chemists use to measure concentration, molarity.
Because think about it. In a real science lab, you can't just write down in your notes, I used a strong solution. What does that even mean? It's way too vague. To make sure an experiment can be done the exact same way twice, or to make sure a medicine is safe, you need a standard recipe, a precise number.
And that's where molarity comes in. Here it is. Molarity, we use a big capital M for it, is simply the number of moles of your solute divided by the number of liters of your total solution. That's it. It's just a ratio. How much stuff, that's the moles, is in a certain amount of space, that's the liters. Moles divided by liters. Okay, seeing a formula is one thing, but using it is how it really clicks. So let's put this thing into action. We're going to do a really quick, straightforward example together. So here's the problem. Let's say you dissolve 2 moles of regular old salt, that's our solute, right, into enough water to make a final solution that is exactly 4 liters. The question is, what's the molarity? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how simple the logic is. You just follow the steps. First, what are our moles? The problem tells us we've got 2 moles. Easy. Second, what are our liters? Again, the problem says 4 liters. So the last step, we just divide moles by liters. 2 divided by 4.
And what's 2 divided by 4? It's 0.5. So the concentration of our salt solution is 0.5 molar. And we just write that as 0.5 with a capital M. And that's it. You literally just calculated molarity. Not so bad, right?
Okay, so we can do the math. That's awesome. But the big question is, so what? Why does this even matter? Why is it so incredibly important to get concentration right in the real world? Well, the truth is, molarity is everywhere, and getting it right can be a matter of life and death. In medicine, the dose of a drug in an IV bag has to be perfect. Too much or too little could be dangerous. When you get a blood test, all those results are concentrations. Think about manufacturing. Molarity is how companies make sure every single can of soda tastes the same. And for the environment, it's how we measure if there are dangerous pollutants in our water. In these fields, being precise isn't just nice, it's absolutely critical. So here's the big takeaway. Molarity isn't just some random formula you have to memorize for a test. It's a universal language. It means a scientist in Tokyo can understand the work of a doctor in Cairo who can communicate perfectly with an engineer in Sao Paulo. It's all about precision, clarity, and safety, all around the world.
So, next time you're in the kitchen, maybe making your morning coffee or a glass of iced tea, take a second and think about it. You're not just making a drink, you're a chemist creating a solution. So what is the molarity of your coffee? Just something to think about. Thanks for joining me today.